Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be touching on four matchups in college basketball and who I think are the better value bets against the spread. A couple of these games don't have spreads quite yet released on them, but I'm still going to give my take on where I think the spread might be at and who's going to have the better bet against the spread in those situations. This is going to be for March 5th, 2017. If you're interested on what four games I'm going to be talking about, I'll throw those down in the video description. Also, if you're interested in getting our daily free pick as well as just more pick content in general, you can head on over to our main website, stumpthespread.com. I'll throw a link to Stump the Spread down in the video description. If you want more of this pick video content in the future, you can click that subscribe button, and any thumbs up on the video are greatly appreciated. So heading right into this one, got a matchup over in the Big Ten between Minnesota and Wisconsin. These two Big Ten rivals played a bit earlier in conference play, and very competitive matchup. Minnesota went on to lose right at the end of that one, and it was a very close game. But that was back when Minnesota wasn't quite hitting their stride in Big Ten play, while Wisconsin was one of the clear-cut top teams in the league at that point. A lot has changed since then. Minnesota has won pretty much every game that they've played in over the past month, and they are arguably the hottest team in the Big Ten right now. You know, they haven't been picking up wins against, quite the top teams. They did get a nice win against Maryland, but they haven't been picking up any wins against Purdue or Wisconsin during this stretch. But this is their chance to really prove themselves on the road against what's still viewed as a top-tier team in the Big Ten, even though Wisconsin has fallen in 5 of the last 6 games. Wisconsin looks really vulnerable right now, but, we're not all that worried about Wisconsin as we head into the postseason. This is still a veteran group that plays tremendously well on the defensive side of the ball, and I would not want to be matched up against Wisconsin come either the Big Ten tournament or the NCAA tournament. It's a group that's really well coached, and they have a lot of tournament experience, so we definitely expect better results out of the Badgers come postseason play. But coming to this one, Minnesota definitely surging and riding a wave of momentum, and like I said, the matchup between these teams earlier in conference play was very competitive. We feel like Minnesota can keep things close again today. In Wisconsin's last outing at home against Iowa, we took the Iowa Hawkeyes as a top confidence premium play over on our main site. They were getting 11 points, I believe, in that one, and they actually went on to win that one straight up. Wisconsin definitely not trending in the right direction right now, and as a result, we do feel like this one can be pretty competitive. So we're going to go inside with Minnesota getting those 6.5 points as the better value bet against the spread, and what will likely turn into more of a defensive matchup, giving these points a bit more value. So go ahead and take the road team in this one, getting those 6.5 points as the better bet. Right below that one, we have a matchup over in the AAC between Cincinnati and Connecticut. I'm not sure how much Cincinnati will put into this one effort-wise. Cincinnati safely into the NCAA tournament right now, and how they perform in this one won't ultimately hurt or help them all that much. Cincinnati have been having themselves a really solid year within the AAC, and this is a group that has shown they can play at any tempo. They don't mind playing to whatever style that their opponent dictates. This is a team that has shown really well on the defensive side of the ball throughout the year. But really on the offensive end, they've been a bit more hit and miss, just kind of depending on the opposition that they've gone against. For instance, recently Cincinnati went on the road against UCF, another very strong defensive team, and the Bearcats did play at that UCF a really slow half-court pace of play, and they went on to lose that one actually in a game where they weren't able to crack that 50-point mark. But then in their last outing against Houston, Cincinnati really stepped up on the offensive side of the ball and went on to really convincingly beat the Cougars. So, more recently, Cincinnati's been a bit hit or miss on the offensive side of the ball, and that's been kind of a theme that we've seen with the Bearcats throughout the regular season. Going on the road today against another defensive-oriented team, we do expect this to be a strong defensive battle with UConn really trying to dictate a slow half-court pace of play to give themselves a shot here. This game, we can see UConn probably giving a really, a great effort on their home court, last home game of the regular season. But it's really been a tough year for the Connecticut Huskies. A lot more was expected out of this group. They have been somewhat respectable in the AAC this year, more so than what they showed back during the non-conference. And UConn definitely is one of those teams that has the kind of talent where, a surprise deep run in the AAC tournament isn't completely out of the question, and the Huskies are going to be trying to get all their ducks in a row, and really trying to put together a solid showing prior to conference tournament action. So on their home court today, in what's probably going to be a lower scoring game, giving these points a bit more value. We're going to go ahead and side with the UConn Huskies, getting those 5 points against Cincinnati as the better bet against the spread. Just a couple more games I want to touch on in this video, and neither of them currently have spreads out, but I still want to talk about them anyways. We have a matchup over in the MVC between Wichita State and Illinois State. In the last matchup between these two teams, Wichita State completely throttled Illinois State at home. They just completely demolished the Redbirds in every aspect of the game, and quite different than the matchup we saw between these two teams earlier in conference play, which Wichita State went on the road to Illinois State, and things were really close for a while, but Illinois State was able to pull away in the end of that one as they went on a pretty impressive run down the stretch in that particular matchup. Both of these teams have had incredible years overall, especially in the MVC, which is a conference that really probably doesn't get as much respect as they deserve. This is a great mid-major conference that, if it was only a one-bid league this year, that would be a big disappointment, especially for MVC fans who like to see their teams represent the conference in the NCAA tournament, where, it seems like MVC teams tend to outperform expectations rather consistently in the NCAA tournament. I really hope that the loser of this game is picked as an at-large team, but obviously the winner is going to seal their spot in the NCAA tournament. Both of these teams have been excellent on the defensive side of the ball this year, but Wichita State is the clear cut advantage on the offensive side of the ball, much higher ceiling offensively for Wichita State. Illinois State, they might be slightly better defensively, but the offensive disparity between these two teams throughout the regular season has definitely shown in the numbers that they've been putting up. We feel like coming to this one, the spread might be Wichita State favored by about 4 points or so if I had to guess at it right now. And if that's the case, or somewhere around that particular number, we do feel like Wichita State, especially their fans travel very well, and we saw that in their outing the other day against Missouri State. Wichita State's home fans definitely overwhelmed in that one. This is just a really proud basketball program that's been a consistent performer throughout the last 5 or so years. They always seem to make the NCAA tournament, and we feel like they're going to go ahead and get the job done in this matchup against Illinois State as they go on to win and cover the spread. All right, one more matchup that I want to touch on in today's video. It's going to be over in the MAAC between Iona and St. Peter's. Should be a pretty good matchup here between two of the upper tier teams in the conference. Iona was able to get St. Peter's the best of them in both the results that they put up during the regular season. That was back, kind of in the earlier to mid portion of MAAC play. Back before St. Peter's really hit their stride. St. Peter's has been red hot down the stretch, winning the last 7 games in a row. And what, separates St. Peter's from the rest of the teams in the MAC is their ability to really put up elite defensive performances. St. Peter's also has some offensive weapons that can really get going and get hot, but what makes this team so tough to go against is their defense. And defense always is easier to kind of bring to the table, especially in these pressure-filled games, than offense necessarily. Iona really relies a lot on getting fast break buckets, and going against such a strong defensive team, Iona could have a tougher time getting those kind of baskets in today's matchup. This is probably going to be more around a pick-em. Iona might be a slight favorite, but the Iona Gales, they've been a bit up and down over the past month, alternating wins and losses over the last 8 games, so definitely not a team that's been showing the solid, consistent results that we've seen out of St. Peter's over that same stretch of time. Coming to this one, again, if it's in that pick'em range, or maybe Iona is a slight favorite in this one, we do feel like St. Peter's, behind the strength of their top conference performing defensive unit, is going to be a pretty solid value bet against the spread in this one. So those are the matchup I wanted to touch on in today's video. Again, if you're interested in getting our daily free pick over at our main website, you can check out stumpthespread.com. And if you're looking to get more of this video pick content in the future, you can click that subscribe button. So thanks guys for stopping on in, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.